Throughout the course of history, there have always been mysteries that seem to stretch beyond the boundaries of human imagination, from ancient secret societies said to guard supreme knowledge, to provocative theories about the origins of Christ, and archaeological discoveries that challenge our very understanding of human history. Tonight, we invite you to join us on a journey into some of the most enduring enigmas ever recorded. The photograph of the 9 unknown men. Throughout human history, there have always been secrets that, even after thousands of years, remain shrouded in mystery. Among them is the legend of the 9 unknown men, SEO, a secret society said to have been founded more than 2 millennia ago by Emperor Ashoka of India. According to the accounts, this clandestine order was entrusted with guarding some of the most profound knowledge ever discovered by humankind. The legend tells us that after witnessing the horrors of a bloody war against a neighboring kingdom, Ashoka renounced violence and turned toward peace. To prevent dangerous knowledge from falling into the wrong hands, he chose 9 of the wisest scholars of his time, each tasked with preserving a specific field of learning in absolute secrecy. The order worked entirely in the shadows, and the identities of its members were never revealed. Each was said to protect one body of knowledge: physics, medicine, alchemy, astronomy, biology, and even domains bordering on the fantastical, such as the control of gravity or the origins of the universe itself. When a member died or could no longer serve, a replacement was chosen, ensuring the society would always consist of 9 men. The story gained renewed fascination in the West in 1923, when author Talbot Mundy published his novel, The 9 Unknown Men. Many dismissed it as a work of fiction, yet others believed Mundy had accessed genuine esoteric traditions from the East. To this day, the society remains one of history's enduring enigmas. No one can say for certain whether the 9 still exist, or if they continue to operate, hidden in plain sight within our modern world. Was Jesus an extraterrestrial? For centuries, the life of Jesus has been one of history's deepest mysteries. To billions across the globe, he is revered as the Savior, a figure central to their faith and identity. Yet alongside the familiar biblical narrative, there have always been alternative theories, DCA, some controversial, others outright radical, who he truly was. At one point, the media buzzed with reports of an alleged discovery at Scotland's Rosslyn Chapel, long associated with legends of the Knights Templar. According to circulating claims, researchers had uncovered what they believed to be the actual wooden cross upon which Jesus was crucified. Even more sensational, they supposedly found remnants of blood embedded in the wood. Samples were said to have been taken for DNA testing in hopes of answering unresolved questions within Christian history. The results, at least as the story spread, were shocking. Instead of ordinary human DNA, scientists allegedly reported a structure unlike anything previously seen, a triple helix, not the double helix known to modern biology. This DNA was linked to what was called Homo superioris, a supposed race endowed with abilities far beyond normal human capacity, accelerated healing, telepathy, and even the power to bend the laws of physics. From this emerged a bold hypothesis that Jesus might not have been an ordinary man at all, but a member of this hidden lineage. The miracles attributed to him, they argued, could have been natural expressions of these extraordinary traits. Some even claimed this explained how he survived crucifixion. It is important to emphasize, however, that there is no verified scientific evidence to support these claims. The so-called triple helix DNA, the existence of Homo superioris, and the discovery of the cross at Rosslyn Chapel all originate from unverified sources, often circulated on fringe websites or in paranormal forums. The oldest mummy in the world. When most people think of mummies, their minds immediately turn to ancient Egypt. But recent archaeological discoveries have rewritten that assumption, revealing that the oldest known mummies in the world lie not along the Nile, but in Portugal's Sado Valley. Human remains unearthed there have been dated to nearly 8,000 years ago, predating even the famed Chinchorro mummies of Chile, which had long been celebrated as the oldest at roughly 7,000 years of age. For decades, the Chinchorro were hailed as the pinnacle of prehistoric embalming skill, but the Sado find has pushed the boundary back by an entire millennium. What made these burials even more remarkable was the ritual itself. The dead were placed in a tightly contracted, fetal-like position, the knees drawn up to the chest, arms wrapped around the legs, and the entire body bound tightly with layers of cord. As the body naturally dehydrated and decayed, family members would return again and again to tighten the bindings, compressing the remains until, after months, what was left resembled a small, desiccated bundle. This unusual process preserved not only the skeletal frame, but also traces of soft tissue, allowing the remains to survive almost intact beneath the earth for millennia. The story of the Sado mummies reminds us just how much of the prehistoric world remains unexplored, and how every new discovery can overturn long-held assumptions about the origins of humanity itself. The Black Sea Deluge. Human history has witnessed more than a few natural disasters powerful enough to alter the course of entire civilizations. Among the most debated is the theory of the Black Sea Flood. In 1997, marine geologist William Ryan and his colleagues put forward a hypothesis that stunned the scientific community. They argued that what we know today as the Black Sea was once a massive freshwater lake surrounded by thriving prehistoric settlements. According to their theory, everything changed in a cataclysmic moment when the waters of the Mediterranean broke through the Bosphorus Strait, surging into the basin below. Salty seawater poured in with overwhelming force, submerging villages, farmland, and all signs of human life, one sea transforming a freshwater lake into the vast Black Sea we see today. Researchers estimate this event occurred roughly 7,600 years ago, its power sufficient to sweep away entire communities in a matter of days. Whole villages and even fledgling civilizations would have been drowned beneath the rising tide. What makes the Black Sea theory especially compelling is not only the scale of destruction, but also its uncanny resemblance to the ancient flood myths recorded in the Bible and echoed across numerous world cultures. Could it be that the collective memory of this prehistoric disaster inspired the story of Noah? Modern archaeological surveys have uncovered additional evidence. Deep below the waves, nearly 100 meters beneath the present-day surface, divers and researchers claim to have found traces of human structures, ICHS, ruins that hint at a lost world, drowned by the deluge. Though scholars continue to debate the true scale and impact of this event, the Black Sea flood theory has reshaped our understanding of the ancient past, reminding us that history is often written by the forces of nature itself. The Giants of Nevada. Long before European settlers arrived in what is now Nevada, native peoples of the Paiute tribe passed down chilling legends of a race of fearsome giants. Known as the Sea-Te-Ka, these towering beings were said to have flaming red hair and a savage disposition that struck terror into anyone who crossed their path. According to Paiute oral history, the Sea-Te-Ka were not only giants but also cannibals. For generations, bloody skirmishes took place between the tribe and these monstrous foes, until finally the Paiute resolved to end the menace once and for all. The legend recounts how Paiute warriors forced the Sea-Te-Ka deep into a cavern near present-day Lovelock. To ensure none could escape, they set fire to the cave's entrance, sealing the giants inside to burn or suffocate. Centuries later, the site of this grisly end was buried by an earthquake. But in 1920, miners working for the Sunset Mining Company stumbled upon a cavern near Lovelock while harvesting bat guano. There they discovered artifacts of unusual size, and most remarkably, 2 human skeletons that measured more than 8 feet tall. Yet, just as anticipation grew for serious study, the remains mysteriously vanished. To this day, no one can say what became of the giant skeletons, and their disappearance has only deepened the enigma of the Sea-Te-Ka legend. The legend of Thule. In the ancient world, when maps were incomplete and horizons uncertain, tales circulated of distant lands at the very edge of the known earth. Among the most enduring was the legend of Thule, immortalized by the Roman poet Virgil. He described it as a desolate and mysterious realm, a place where the sun, once it set, would never rise again. Millennia later, in the early 20th century, Nazi ideologues searching for mythical origins of the Aryan race seized upon this legend. They became convinced that Thule was no fable at all, but a real location, identifying it with modern-day Iceland, which they believed had once been home to the Hyperboreans, the supposed divine ancestors of their cherished Aryan lineage. So powerful was this belief that Heinrich Himmler, one of the most influential figures of the Nazi regime, ordered an expedition to Iceland in 1938. His team hoped to uncover ancient temples or artifacts that might confirm their theories. From the moment they arrived, however, the Germans faced obstacles. Icelandic authorities were openly hostile, restricting their surveys and limiting their access. Still, the expedition claimed to have found a mysterious cave once used for ritual worship by an ancient people. But without credible evidence to support such a claim, the announcement was quickly dismissed as propaganda. By the end of their mission in 1938, the Nazis had failed to produce any verifiable proof of Thule's existence. And so, the mythical land remained just that, a legend, preserved in poetry and rumor, its true nature lost to time. The mystery of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. When speaking of the Wild West, few names carry the same weight as Butch Cassidy and his close companion, the Sundance Kid. These notorious outlaws captured headlines across the United States at the turn of the 20th century with a string of daring bank and train robberies. Their exploits became the stuff of legend, but the true story of how their lives ended remains one of history's lingering mysteries. By the dawn of the new century, law enforcement had begun closing in on them from every side. In 1901, the pair fled America aboard a ship bound for Argentina, chasing the hope of a fresh start far from the reach of the Pinkertons and international warrants. In their new home, they adopted aliases. Butch became Santiago Maxwell, while Sundance took the name James Ryan. They purchased a modest ranch in the windswept lands of Patagonia and tried, for a time, to live as ordinary farmers. But the past is not so easily outrun. Within only a few years, pressure from old wanted notices and the encroachment of international investigators forced them back into a life of crime. Soon robberies resumed, not just in Argentina, but across Chile and Bolivia as well. By November of 1908, their trail led to a remote Bolivian village called San Vicente. Word of their presence spread quickly, and the Bolivian army was dispatched to hunt them down. As darkness fell, the town was surrounded, and a fierce gun battle erupted. Locals later recalled that the exchange of gunfire lasted through the night. When soldiers entered the following morning, they found two bodies inside a small house, one badly wounded, the other believed to have taken his own life. But no one could say with certainty whether the dead men were truly Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. News of their supposed deaths spread rapidly throughout South America, yet concrete proof was never produced. Some claimed that Cassidy had survived the firefight and quietly slipped back to the United States. One story placed him in Utah in 1925 under the name William Phillips, later living in Washington state into the 1930s. His own sister even testified that her brother returned to see his family after years in hiding. Others went so far as to claim possession of a manuscript, Cassidy's own memoir, detailing the final chapters of his life lived behind a new identity. Whether the tale ended in that Bolivian village or continued under assumed names in the American West, the fate of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid remains a question without a definitive answer. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. If you found these mysteries fascinating, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming journeys. See you in the next video.